You know, and it is very consistent. The ink flow on these is great. It just comes, it flows so nicely to give you this nice even look. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Is It Worth It, where I go around the world and the internet looking for art supplies to make your life just a little bit better, or for you to enjoy the craft just this much more. Now today we are going to a company that I normally like. I like them very much. I use them a lot. A lot of their product is in the Kaiser household. And they have come up with some new markers, and they are called the Faber Castell 6 Goldfaber Sketch markers. They are dual markers, and it says that it is for graphic novels. So I'm very interested in trying these out because, like I said, I like Faber Castell. These are alcohol based. I'm very excited about that. And they have a brush and a fineliner color, tip. So I'm very excited to see what this is like, how this works, how they work with ink and all that kind of good stuff. And like I said, I like Faber Castell a lot. They're normally really good. And so I'm very, very eager to dive into this to see exactly what it delivers. So as you know, there's only one way to figure out if these are actually worth it. So come on, let's go check them out. All right, so this is in a bit of a chipboard, but they've actually done some really cool stuff by showing you, the markers on both sides, which is kind of cool. And they have this peekaboo window here, so you can actually see the colors that you're going to get, which is always nice. These colors, at least here, are not what I would have thrown into a graphic novel type starter set, but what do I know? We're going to try them out and we're going to figure out what happens. They also tell you the colors in the back and their numbers based on Faber-Castell's color marking system, so that's good. And then it says that it's 6 alcohol-based markers with 2 nibs, soft flexible brush nib for areas of variable line widths, and metal encased fine liner tip, a 0.6. Dries quickly, depth and shadow due to repeated color applications, easy to blend. Caps and barrels are made of 100% recycled material and may show color variations due to production. Disposal and user proper, and then it tells you how to properly recycle these when it's done. So it's saying that the cap and stuff is 100% recycled plastic, so that's good. So, but it's still just in a little chipboard. So let's see. Let's crack it open. All right. Oh, there's another one in there. Oh no. Oh. Okay. Let's see. Is it telling us the series that they have? Yeah. Oh well, look at all the colors that they have. So that's good. All right. So this is definitely just the starter set. So there's some really nice color variation in there. So if they're good, you can actually go and get some really cool colors in there. They also have blenders that also shows you, look, their line variations and stuff, what they are saying that you can get with the brush. Let's see. And then it's just blending. Water blue. Oh, the more that you apply. So it's actually telling you here, the more that you apply it, the darker it will get with the same thing. So that's kind of cool. So you can get like 3 different kinds of color depending on how you layer it. And then you have your color sheet, right? So now you can get all the colors of the color and mark them out, so that way you have them up on a glance when you're looking at them on the wall or something like that. You don't have to guess as to what your marker is going to do. So that's kind of nice that they put that with it. These are a lot thinner than I thought they were going to be. These remind me of like Tombow markers, at least the length and the size and stuff like that. It's very that kind of marker casing. So that's, if you like that, that's great. You'll love these too. I think that because of the recycled plastic, right, you can feel it. And you can feel that it feels kind of plasticky. But it does have a nice weight to it, so it doesn't, not like some of the ones that we've reviewed before, that when you feel it, it doesn't feel like it's made of anything. This one actually has a durable feel to it, so that's really nice. Each cap is different. So the fineliner cap has a ridged cap, and then the brush one has a flat triangular shaped cap. Okay. Now, the one thing that I've right away noticed is that nib. It's not like most other fineliner nibs. This one actually has a point. Like, it comes to a point. So that's really interesting. Like, I really do like the fact that it's a point and it's not rounded. So you can get some really nice stuff with that, I'm assuming. And then you can hear, see, it's got a nice snap. Love it when they got a good snap. And then the brush seems like it's a thicker brush. It seems like it's going to be pretty flexible, but it has enough firmness to it so that you can actually get some nice lines with it if that's what you want it to do. But it's got a nice wide side as well, so you can cover more and more space. And it does look like the ink flow is going pretty well into the marker, so you shouldn't have any problems with that as well. So there's that. Now, like I said, not the colors that I probably would have picked as like a combination, but it looks like there's a skin tone that they're trying to go with, a random orange. Yeah, the only ones that kind of fit together would be these two, right? They're green and green, and I guess this one too, this purple and green, but I don't know, not the colors I would have picked, but still. Oh, and as usual, we are going to be using our Bristol board, Strathmore Bristol board, Series 3 Smooth for this demonstration. All right, so let's just start with this green one. Start with the brush. All right. Got some nice ink flow. All right, let's see if we can get, see, look at that. Some really nice coverage there. And then, right, you can get some really delicate lines depending on how you want to hold it. That's really nice. Like, the color's really nice. It's not the same, and they mentioned that at the very beginning that it wasn't going to be the same in color. So this is a little bit darker than what's coming out. But also they said, right, like if we go over it again, right, so once that dries, it's going to be a different color, right? And so let's try that. We're going to give that a second, and then we're going to come back and we're going to kind of let it dry, or we're going to put another color over it and see what it looks like, right? And then here's the nib, the fine liner. Okay, I mean, I can be honest with you that it's a fine liner. There's really nothing. Doesn't seem like anything's really special happening, although if you kind of hold it to the side, you can get a little thicker line, right? But it's not a flex nib, so that's not what's happening. But that tip does give you a very consistent line. The only thing that I would be worried about is that if you use it too much, just like most things, like a pencil, eventually it's going to flatten out. But there is absolutely no denying the use of that nib, right? Because you can really get in there. What I like about this, that there is a fine liner point, is that if I need to, I can really just get into wherever, like whatever nook and cranny of that drawing that I can get into. I can literally just get in there and know that once I come out and do this, I can then switch over to my brush, right? Although that seems a lot darker. So if we do that, if you do it the first time, it seems like they'll mend pretty well together, but I'm worried about how, right? Because you see that, like, you can definitely get through. They're definitely different tones right, for this one, and this one. And so going over it, the one thing that you probably have to know is, if you're like me and you're trying to do a lot more graphic stuff, right, you have to kind of go over it. Although it layers really flat. So you might not need to, right? Where last time I went like that and then it dries up, but it layers really, really flat if you work with it. So you might not even have to. So you can layer it, but like that blended into itself really, really nicely. Yeah, so it's just, I mean, these are nice. Now, the one thing, and they told you right on the package, which I think is important, that if you go over it, right, like here, so if you go over it again, it's going to change the layer, the intensity of the color like we did here, right? So it's something you have to be aware of if you are doing something like calligraphy, or if you are doing bullet journaling, you know, and you try and do that, it will cross over, and every time you cross over it, it will get darker. So that is definitely something you need to know. Also, it does seem to like want to dry lighter, which is normally what happens, but it really does want to dry lighter. So this one was the mid-tone, I think, or the ink just started flowing a little bit better with the green, and so now it got darker. But as far as the marker themselves, these are fantastic. And I really, really am enjoying this bullet tip. Right? So that one's really good. Like that. And the bullet is, I mean, it's just really nice. It's nice. These are nice. So, and even, you know, and it is very consistent. The ink flow on these is great. It just comes, it flows so nicely to give you this nice, even look, as long as you're not trying to go over. If you go over it, as I've mentioned, it's going to make it darker. But you can look at these like nice feathered lines that you can get, right? So you can get these nice feathered lines with your brush. It's very, very nice. Forgot to see if they post. Oh, look at that. It does post. Yeah. Oh. Tight. Let's see if it goes the other way. Let's see. I think it does. Oh, look at that. Double post. Oh, Faber-Castell. They told you there was a reason why I like them. But as I was mentioning before, with these, you know, to be able to actually sign your name with the color is fantastic, right? You're using the marker to do the markering, and then you can sign it with the marker. Now that, I'm just like, ooh, that's really nice. Like, that's really, really nice. And so I don't have a big enough, I don't think, there's probably a color in between, because this to this is just a big jump, and I would hate to try and blend these two together because I just don't think it would work well. All right, just very, 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 very nice. Although this one, the feathering on this one, the ink's not getting all the way. There we go. So what I'm seeing by working with these is that, so these were very fresh, and so starting off with them, the ink doesn't actually flow. So like this one is not the same as this one. So when you start, you're going to want to make sure that you have a separate pad and you just kind of scribble around with it to let the color flow out, or that you do one of these and just make sure that your color is able to flow into both the brush and the nib before you actually start trying to do full-on drawings and marker renderings and stuff like that. But yeah, these are Very, very, very smooth, right? The brush it's flexible enough to give you all these feathering marks, but it has enough firmness in it to where you can actually control it. So yeah, these are really fun. And they have a nice variety. Like I said, they had a huge variety in that booklet. So like for me as a person who would use this color and this color as a graphic jump, I think these are going to be fantastic. But I don't know about the colors in between. Like I don't have them all, but if we had them all, we could test to see whether or not we could actually blend them. And I did see that they had a blending marker as well, right? So you would be able to do that. But yeah, all very, very consistent. This one though, this one is a little bit more translucent than the others. The others are once the ink starts flowing, they are very, very opaque. And I think this one will get there too. Yeah, there you go. And like I said, you gotta start it off. You gotta start it off and make sure that it can get to where it needs to go and let the ink flow in it. But let's go ahead and try the little marker test real quick. And that's adding. One of my favorites is the ink. That's ink from Dollar Tree. This is Staedtler. And this is Tombow. These are the ones I have in my arsenal. And we are just going to, because it is alcohol based, which I love, and you don't even smell it. Like there's nothing there. So we're just gonna kind of go up and down with that a little bit. All right, let's see. We only have so many, we can actually put all of them on here and see what happens. All right. So the Edding one has a little bit of a smear in the light green, but all the other colors are fine. Surprisingly, the Dollar Tree ink brush is absolutely fantastic. Not a single smear on any color. And so that is really, really something. Definitely check out my review on this ink pen. They're good. The Staedtler bleeds out on the light green and the peach and the orange, so maybe not the one to go with. And Tombow only bleeds just a little bit with the light green. So for the most part, these markers are good to go with any kind of fine lining ink. So yeah, there you go. All right, so we just got done reviewing the Faber Castell 6 Goldfaber Sketch markers, and get these. These were fun. They're fun. The brush is nice. It's sturdy but flexible. Also gives you a very wide variety. The nib, I have to say, the fineliner nib is probably one of my favorites on this, because like I said, you could get a lot of detail in there. If you need to, you can get into little spaces and still get the color of the alcohol marker, which is huge to me. Being able to match fine liners with markers is almost an impossibility, but them putting it together, absolutely fantastic. Like I really did enjoy using these markers. You have to make sure that you prime them, so you want to use them before you actually start getting started, because at the very beginning the color is a lot lighter, but once it starts flowing, then it gets its true color, which is generally a bit darker. And they do, once you cross over them, as the booklet said, as the back said, once you cross over them, it does get darker, so you can get different tones with this, which is really cool. And so it's almost like having 3 markers in one, almost, but you can say that for almost any marker. But from what we saw, they can be pretty big jumps once they dry. So that is definitely something to consider. I think that was, an interesting little feature that you could almost do to, a significant jump in the color. The ink flow was fantastic. These are fun. Go grab these. Maybe not these, because like I said, the colors were really random. They're really randomly put together, but I believe I saw that they have things like skin tone and earth and stuff like that, things that would match better together, and then just pick them up because they're 100% worth it. These were so fun. They're really good. I think that if you are doing sketches, you can do fantastic sketches with it. And if you are doing like full on rendering and stuff, you can do a lot with it. These markers were definitely fun, and I would definitely recommend you picking them up because they were a lot of fun. Definitely try and catch them on sale because, everything's expensive. Well, that wraps up today's episode of Is It Worth It? I hope that the information that you got here today was helpful in some way, shape, or form. If there are materials that you would like me to review, go ahead and drop it in the comments below and I will add it to the list. If you are new to the channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the bell so that you get notified every single time that I drop new content. Thank you all so very much, and I will see you at the next episode.